Engineering students, today we're going to take a look at how to create an articulated object. And by articulated, it means that there are these tongue and groove pieces that connect different portions of an object so that the item can actually flex and bend back and forth. So here are just some images of flexible cats that are available on Thingiverse, but we're going to make our own. So over in Onshape here, I do have one of the pieces. So these make use of a tongue and groove idea where this particular hole is going to end up going around this peg. And so once we make one of these objects, we can create a pattern so that we just automatically have them all together as if they are assembled. And so when we 3D print them, it will all get printed as one object, but we'll have the ability to flex and bend back and forth. So we're going to create this in Onshape, so let's start with that. First off, in Onshape, change your workspace units for the length default to be millimeter. All of these will be in millimeter. All right, so on this front plane, I'm gonna go ahead and create a sketch and put a rectangle on here that is 16 millimeters wide by 60 millimeters tall. So this 60 millimeters, that's 6 centimeters, which is a little over 2 inches. So this object isn't gonna be huge. You can make adjustments here if you find you need. If your object is maybe taller than it is wide, depending on, what shape you wanna make. So you do not have to make a cat. You do not have to make a dog. You can make whatever shape you want. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish the sketch and let's extrude this. I'm gonna start with 10 millimeters. So I don't want this to be super chunky or super thick when I print it, just because I want it to be kind of proportional and look good and look flexible. We can make adjustments to that later as well if we find we need it thinner. But 10 millimeters is a good place to start. All right, so on this front of this object, I'm going to go ahead and place another sketch. And I'm going to put a vertical line from the top to the bottom, but it's not in the center. So I made sure to avoid that center point. And I'm going to make sure this is 6 centimeters from the left edge. After that, I'm going to create a specific center point rectangle. I'm going to hover over the center or the midpoint of that line, and I'm just going to create a rectangle kind of off in space here. I do actually want to connect it, so I'm going to let that lock on, and I'm going to make this rectangle 5.68 millimeters wide, so it almost goes to the edge, but not quite. And I'm also going to make it 3 millimeters tall. Okay, so make sure yours looks just like that. And I'm going to make another center point rectangle from the center here. Again, not really attached to anything, but I'm going to go ahead and drag it over. Okay, there we go. And this will be 5 millimeters deep and 4 millimeters tall. So this is going to become the tongue part, and this will be the opening or the groove that it will go in. All right, so once we have all of that dimensioned, everything looks good there, I'm going to go ahead and extrude, and specifically I'm going to remove, make sure this says solid, I'm going to remove this piece and that piece, and just through all to remove, and there it is. So it is definitely starting to look like this tongue and groove piece from the first tab of mine. All right. So we have a few more things to apply here. One is to go ahead and create this peg that comes down. So on this surface, just kind of zooming in, I'm going to add a sketch there, and I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to hover on this edge and make sure it helps me find that midpoint. And once I select it, then it's created there. And let's make this circle a diameter of 2.5. All right, so now I'm going to extrude the whole circle, not just part of it, but the whole circle. And I'm going to choose up to face and select that top face and green check that. So that all looks good. The last piece is to try to apply a little more material there. So I'm going to use a fillet. When we're adding material, it's actually called a round, but that's really beside the point. It's the same object. So that fillet, a radius of 1 millimeter in there, and yep, just apply a couple fillets. So this looks really good. Added in there. You know, I don't think I need to fillet this other end, but now I'm questioning it. I do not. Let's X that. Nope, not doing it. Just on the outside there. Okay. What else am I going to do? I'm going to apply some fillets here on the tongue part just to make sure that it's going to just be applied smoothly. So just going to click pretty much every edge that I can reach here. Here, and here. Yep, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 edges there. And then on the inside on this, I'm gonna just round these off. Okay, and so that's starting to look very nice. The last thing to apply here is to create a hole on this peg. So looking at it down from the top, creating just a regular circle, but I do want it centered. So I'm going to go ahead and place it, dimension this to be 3.6 millimeters, and I'm going to dimension from the center to this edge, and this is going to be 2.3 millimeters away from the vertical. Okay, and that creates a place for me to extrude and remove through all here. And so now we have a hole, we have a nice large opening to go around this peg. All right, so this is video 1. When we come back, we will make the pattern and we'll work on trying to get an image plugged into Onshape that we can utilize.